Now, for the first time since the dawn of democracy, matriculants will have the opportunity of choosing which language they want to write their matric exams. The Eastern Cape Department of Education is testing a pilot project where matriculants can choose to write their exams in IsiXhosa. Joining me now to talk about this is Dr. Naledi Mbude, the department's Deputy Director General, Corporate Services. Dr. Naledi, good evening, and thank you very much for your time tonight. I want to talk first about this pilot program, the bilingual examination program. What is the thinking, the scientific reasoning for extending this bilingual examination program to grade 12 learners?
Thank you very much. The scientific thinking is around a project that we had in the Eastern Cape in 2012, where from grade 4 our learners, instead of switching over to English, which is what most schools do based on a 1925 principle of official bilingualism, they continued with IsiXhosa and English, having what we call mother tongue based bilingual education. That group that started in grade 4 in 70 schools in the Offenburg district in 2012 is now in grade 12.
So these are learners that started with this program from grade 12. They're not only starting now this year.
They started in grade 4, some of them. That group started in grade 4 in 2012. But because of this group that started in grade 4, all quintiles 1, 2, and 3 learners in our poorest of the poor schools in the province will have access to write in either of the 4 official languages of the province. It can be IsiXhosa, Sesotho, English, or Afrikaans. So we are allowing our quintiles 1, 2, and 3 students to choose which language they want to write their exam in for the first time in the history of South Africa.
So this is in math, science, life sciences, and in history. What was the process of teaching like using both these languages?
The empirical data and results we got from the project that we did over a period of 6 years when we maintained the home language of the child, particularly in mathematics and science, was that they did significantly much better than when they were only offered the examinations in English. You know that our learners, they are taught in English, but they don't learn in English. So the difference between the language of teaching, the language of learning, and the language of assessment, we made that link, that it is important for them to be offered that opportunity and then sustain it in your learning and in your assessment. So we are hoping that the fact that we are able to extend that to grade 12, which the Constitution actually allows us to do that we haven't been doing for the past 25 years. For the first time, we have broken the ceiling and said it's time that we pilot this group so that the lessons that we learn from this pilot can be brought to all provinces in the following year.
Dr. Naledi, of course, we are operating under the new normal, so there are various challenges technologically that we are contending with. So I'm going to request you live as we do this to sit back so that our viewers can be able to see you, because of your positioning of your camera right now is hiding your face, so that we can have this conversation. So that let's talk about the opportunities that this has allowed as far as preparation is concerned, because the mother tongue education challenge has been with us for a very long time, and those who argue say, well, there is, for example, no material that is in IsiXhosa to teach learners mathematics. There's no material in Sesotho that can teach learners history in their language. How did you overcome that?
I do want to stress the fact that the issue of mother tongue education becomes a problem when it has to do with African languages. We forget that in South Africa, white kids have mother tongue education from cradle to university. All home language speakers of English and Afrikaans have had mother tongue education for centuries. So this becomes a problem every time we have to do it for Africans. And you must ask ourselves why. Now, the Eastern Cape Education Department has for years offered bilingual and mainly mother tongue workbooks. So whatever the Department of Basic Education offers in English and Afrikaans, the province offers it in Xhosa and Sesotho from grades 4 right up to the end of the primary schooling. The same thing our publishers have got on board. We have textbooks that we have done to make sure that our learners have access to LTSM, what we call learner teacher support material. We've done everything in terms of teacher training, our teachers in the program. And remember that although the program was done for a pilot up to grade 7 at the time, we extended this pilot to all districts in the Eastern Cape. Now, all our learners have gone through primary schooling in our quintiles 1 to 3 schools using both languages. Where there is a will, particularly political will, where the MEC of Education puts money, the department itself, puts an investment in ensuring that we can develop the materials, we can ensure that learners don't only learn using an African language. Assessment is also extended. The Eastern Cape became the first province to have the honors, the old honors, for this group of learners in IsiXhosa. So it's not the first time that we've done this. We have a sustained database where we have actually invested in ensuring that we do our teacher training, we do our LTSM, and we do our pilots in terms of the empirical research data that we wanted to come out of the pilot. So we've done that work.
Now, in terms of assessment, very interesting. How are they going to write then? Do they get a paper and they choose whether they will get the questions in English and respond in English, or they can choose to get the questions in IsiXhosa or in Sesotho and still respond in English? How does it work?
You will remember that the concept of bilingual education means that you are allowed, even if you will understand the questions in English or in IsiXhosa initially and choose to write in English, that's entirely upon a learner, as long as you have allowed them. So as they get into the exam, they will get a question paper in both English and Sesotho, if they belong to any one of the schools that offer Sesotho home language in the Eastern Cape, or they will get their question paper in English on the one side and IsiXhosa on the other side. Now, the choice is vested in the individual, as Section 29 of the Constitution says. So it's not about them having to write in IsiXhosa. It's not about them having to put or to choose a particular language. It is for them to understand the question and then decide which language they want to write in. But learners for this pilot are only allowed to choose the one language that they wish to write in. They will have access to both questions, but it is them that will choose which language they are comfortable in. That is what bilingual education means. It's not catching out how much English learners know. Yeah. It's how much maths they know. Yeah. It's how much science they know, or how much history they know.
And how does this impact then on the marking of scripts?
Because our quintiles 1, 2, 3 schools are quite a homogeneous group in the Eastern Cape, we have no issues. If there's any teacher that comes, whether it is a foreign national coming from a different province or a different country, we've made it a point that the district director of the area will ensure that teachers who come from other schools who are able to manage the exam in IsiXhosa, they put up a district team. So our processes are in place to ensure that there's no problem with marking.